We've seen debris flying everywhere and a big cloud, looked like a mushroom cloud, I'd say 200 foot in the air.
A community looking for answers in the wake of a deadly morning explosion that leveled a home. Plus,
we're certainly not naive. We know there's gangs in our community.
Keeping that community safe, the new effort by Monroe Police to crack down on gang problems.
Plus the plan some lawmakers are brewing up to help smaller beer makers compete with the big names in the business.
First, continuing coverage of breaking news that we've been following throughout the day. Another house explosion, this time in Henry County, leaving one person dead and another hurt, and a community rattled. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lee Conklin.
And I'm Diane Larson. It's the second house explosion in our area in just the past 2 weeks. Our team of reporters has been on the scene all day long gathering the late-breaking developments.
And today's blast happened around 7:30 this morning on County Road 9 near Liberty Center. People say they could feel it. They could feel that explosion as far away as Napoleon. 13 ABC's Christine Long spoke with people in the neighborhood who saw the chaotic scene unfold this morning.
But we begin with Amy Montgomery live on the scene with an update to the investigation. And Amy, what are police and fire crews telling you?
Well, Diane, they're still trying to determine exactly what happened here this morning, but they do suspect that a gas leak was the culprit for this explosion at this home. But if you take a look here, you can see many neighbors are out here on the scene. They're really assessing the damage. They're trying to help in this cleanup process. But firefighters from several different departments responded here just after 7:30 this morning. The home was fully engulfed in flames. 72-year-old Stephen Collins was rescued by neighbors and rushed to the hospital where he's recovering tonight. But 63-year-old Judy Garwood, who neighbors say was Collins' girlfriend, did not survive. And though this day has obviously been difficult and unbelievable, the fire chief says it could have been much worse.
It's tragic for everybody because in the small community we're in, we're not really highly trained at this. We got half mile to a mile of debris. We're looking at 5 or 6 houses in this row that all have damage in it. The 2 nearest to them are significantly damaged. People just don't see it. A lot of people were in bed. Kids were out front getting ready to get on the school bus. We're just lucky today.
And as we've been out here all day, we're learning more about the people that were inside of the home. Neighbors describe both Collins and Garwood as great people who would do anything that they could to help. And we've actually just learned from somebody who was out here on the scene that Collins was a Vietnam War veteran, and he actually had a Purple Heart, and it went missing in this blast. Now they're asking the community to really keep their eyes open, especially the people out here that are helping in this cleanup process. And they're asking anyone who sees it to please return it to the fire department. For now, reporting live in Liberty Township, Amy Montgomery, 13 ABC, Action News.
It's a mess. I mean, obviously, the first thing you see when you look at it is, wow,
Now, first responders call that scene unbelievable. The shocking, scary morning for not only neighbors, but also for children on their way to school. 13 ABC's Christine Long spoke with neighbors. It continues our live team coverage from the Liberty Center area in Henry County tonight. Christine?
Lee, a Liberty Center school bus was actually turning onto this road this morning when the home exploded. Those students watched the blast. It's a blast that could be felt from miles away. Charred envelopes, patio chairs, an electrical socket blown clear out to the road. It's widespread debris from the leveled home of Stephen Collins. Debris spread throughout the soybean field across the street.
My kids were standing there, they seen it too, and I can't explain it. I guess it's something you'd see on TV in the movies.
I had went back to bed, hear this huge boom, and stuff's flying everywhere. I thought we had been hit by a plane.
Jean Sonnenberg lives right next door in the gray house. Her home suffered major damage. The roof caved in. The family believes they'll have to demolish.
It's very emotional. I mean, my house it looks like it's still there, but it's gone. It's going to have to come down.
Lindsay Krogolka lives a half mile away. She helped carry the homeowner, Collins, who was injured but talking. She helped carry him from the backyard out to the road.
And at that point, he kept telling us, Judy's in there, and firearms were going off in the house. So I told him, no, we have to grab him. We have to go. We have to get you up to the front.
Krogolka says Collins told her his girlfriend, Judy Garwood, had the day off of work and was taking a shower when the home exploded. Garwood died. Firefighters found her in the basement.
Just shook up. I mean, after all was said and done, my dad came up, and I mean, it was just nice to hug my dad and, you know my dad was fine and it wasn't us. I mean, horrible that it happened to anybody, but it just makes you feel closer to family, I guess.
The Sonnenbergs are only beginning to clean up.
My son's getting married in a week and a half, and we're just going to get through it with our friends and by the grace of God.
The Red Cross is helping next-door neighbors whose homes suffered severe damage. They have booked hotel rooms for those families. Lee, back to you.
Christine, those kids actually saw this unfold on the way to school. How are they doing tonight?
Lee, the Liberty Center school superintendent says this was tragic. Her thoughts and prayers go out to the families and neighbors involved here. She said counselors were on hand today to talk to those students who were on the bus and watched this terrifying explosion.
Feel for all those people. Thank you very much. 13 ABC's Christine Long live in Liberty Township tonight.
And today's house explosion in Henry County comes on the heels of another one just last week in Wood County. 2 people were killed in that one, 3 others hurt when a house exploded in Troy Township. Today, 37-year-old Andrew Schulte and his mother, 63-year-old Jan Richards, were buried. The investigation into that case and today's are in the early stages, but in both, a gas leak is suspected. And while there is no official cause, experts say that explosions are more common at the start of the heating season.
Whether it's propane or natural gas, I mean, these are both definitely dangerous systems if they're not being maintained. The reason why is because the moisture can cause breakdown in our metal components of the system. We can end up with holes in the flue liner, rotting. We're not doing this to scare you or to try to make you spend more money. We're doing this to protect you because that's what our job is.
And experts say if you smell gas in your house, get out immediately. Do not call for help from inside the home. For fear of a spark, go to a neighbor's house and call the fire department. And stay with 13 ABC for continuing coverage of this breaking news alert, both on air and online. Our crews are on the scene. We're working to get you the latest updates. Of course, much more on the situation at 11 during 13 minutes of nonstop news. And we are following at this moment breaking news out of Toledo. Police are investigating a drive-by shooting. This happened at Lawrence and Norwood. Police say a person was shot in the side and the hand, but is expected to recover. Police are looking for a blue cutlass. That's all they have to go on, but so far, no suspects.
Now we're following some breaking news with our media partner, The Blade, tonight. The Spitzer building in downtown Toledo is set to close December 1st. Building went up for auction back in June, but no one bid on it. There are currently a few offices and a restaurant inside.
And we have some new details tonight on that chemical release at the BP refinery in Oregon. Crews evacuated workers on part of the site yesterday after hydrogen sulfide was released into the air, and they also blocked traffic to keep people safe. Tonight, a BP spokesperson tells 13 ABC the investigation continues into just why the sulfur recovery unit shut down. We're told workers are slowly getting it back online. Right now, they haven't detected any issues, but environmental experts are continuing to monitor the situation.
Quick note to pass along to people in Continental. Village leaders have issued a boil alert. We're told it's the result of a water line break. Now, if you live south of the railroad tracks, you're advised to boil water before drinking or cooking with it. This boil alert is in effect for the next 48 hours.
New at 6, it's one community's effort to crack down on crime. Monroe City Police are trying to stay ahead of the gang issues in their area. 13 ABC's Alexis Means joins us now live with more. Alexis.
Well, the police department has formed a task force that meets once a month to go over their game plan to deal with the gang problem. It's a growing problem from Chicago to Toledo. Gang violence. Now the city of Monroe is creating a system to ID troublemakers on their streets. Tracy Williamson has lived in Monroe for 45 years.
The sad thing now is it's getting to be more young kids. I mean, I've seen the kids as young as my son, 11, involved in this, and they're running bike theft rings, all kinds of stuff.
A little over a year ago, Monroe City Police formed the Monroe County Gang Coalition. Officers started recognizing graffiti in certain areas. Some graffiti is an indicator of gang activity. Sergeant Charles McCormick says they also recognize some of Toledo's gangs and folks being released from prison as a growing problem in the area.
They certainly have these, members coming out on parole who are very active in the gangs inside the prison system. and they obviously going to bring those propensities with them onto the streets.
Officers have started gang sweeps. They also document gang affiliations, tattoos, colors, and graffiti in neighborhoods. Sergeant McCormick says the community is the department's best resource in handling the problem. Neighbors like Williamson, who are the eyes and ears of the streets.
We refuse to let them take over our area. We stand together. Like, I watch her back, the other old lady down there, she's, we just take care of one another.
She knows the gang issue won't get cleaned up overnight, but applauds the police for doing something. In Monroe, Alexis Means, 13 ABC, Action News.
And we continue to follow the latest developments in the investigation into Toledo toddler Elena Steinfurth's death. This morning, her mother Angela made her first court appearance since her daughter's body was found. She's due back in court October 23rd, accused of obstructing justice in connection with Elena's disappearance. Angela's ex-boyfriend, Stephen King, is also behind bars on the same charges. And earlier this month, investigators found Elena's body in a garage in East Toledo. The funeral is set for baby Elena on Saturday, but today we learned her mother will not be able to attend. Angela's attorney filed a motion for a funeral furlough, as it's called, but a judge denied that.
Disasters can strike at any time.
Special event today to help local first responders make sure they're ready for any emergency.
It may look like a pileup on the turnpike, and that's the idea.
We got 4 to 5 vehicles, approximately 5 to extricate.
The 50 vehicles you see here were put this way on purpose to simulate a major wreck on the turnpike. They're actually behind the Center for Emergency Preparedness at Owens Community College. The victims are from 5 local high schools. They got into the cars and acted hurt. 15 different agencies and 8 hospitals then showed up to practice a major response to an accident with mass casualties. It was an event involving 500 people, 18 months in the making, funded by a federal grant to the Toledo Fire Department.
This is just to coordinate all of our resources, to test all our communications and see how we work together.
After all was said and done, emergency managers from Lucas and Wood counties will be able to see what works and what needs work. It's all in an effort to keep you safe.
Now, craft breweries are becoming more popular right here in Northwest Ohio and all over the country. The Brewers Association says this industry grew by 15% between 2011 and 2012. But lawmakers on Capitol Hill say there's something holding them back from really being able to compete with the big names in beer. 13 ABC's Washington correspondent Ted Fairliso tells us about a plan to change that.
The United States is a country in the world that has the highest number of different kind of beers, of craft beers in the whole world.
And the Maumee Bay Brewing Company is adding to that statistic. The microbrewery now produces about 2,000 barrels of beer a year.
Our brewing is going up about 200 to 300% every year.
But with all that beer comes a hefty excise tax, $7 a barrel.
We're struggling with it because that's what it is and we have to deal with it.
Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey says the guidelines for what's considered a small brewery and the tax associated with it has been the same since 1976, even though the beer industry has grown significantly. So he's co-sponsoring the Small Brewer Reinvestment and Expanding Workforce Act, a.k.a. the Small Brew Act.
Make those small firms more competitive by dropping the excise tax on beer.
Specifically cutting the excise tax in half, $3.50 for the first 60,000 barrels produced. It would also redefine small breweries as producing 6 million barrels a year instead of 2.
Harvard did a study which showed that the economic impact of reducing the excise tax is rather substantial and is a job creator both in the first year or two, but even over time.
Any help in that respect would be an investment in creating more jobs, and selling more product, doing more commerce locally.
Right now, the Small Brew Act has 32 co-sponsors in the Senate, Republican and Democrat, including Senator Rob Portman. In Washington, Ted Fairliso, 13 ABC, Action News.
Beautiful weather out there right now. It continues for the next couple of days. Warming for the weekend, but we're still tracking a few raindrops within that 7-day forecast. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Now, 13 ABC First Warning Weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Berschbach.
No rainfall out there whatsoever on live Doppler 13,000 HD or Viper HD, and a neat view of some live action cam views here. This is I-75 in North Toledo. Now, 2 things to stress on this picture. I think you probably pick up on one. One is that I-75 southbound near the 280 split is just creeping ever so slowly. I think most of what you're seeing are the folks getting on 280, so be aware of this. I believe there's an accident just down the road there, so please be careful. And secondly, look at the glare off the road. This time of the year, the sun sets in the due western horizon, so a good pair of polarized sunglasses and the visor, right? Be sure to use that visor and be prepared for some sun glare on your way. So not the best driving conditions. No rain, no snow, but one, slow going on 75, and two, that blazing sunshine. Current temperature outside, 69 degrees right now. Neat view from South Toledo. You can kind of see the buildings out there, and also just a little shake to our camera. Had the winds pick up late today from the east-northeast, currently at 12 miles per hour, and that humidity at 55%. Other temperatures, 60s closer to Lake Erie, most of us farther away in the 70s. There's always the exception. Hillsdale, Michigan, that's the exception at 63. Now your forecast for any rain or cloud cover. I think those few clouds we see out there this evening will go away as the system dives down to our south. But what you're seeing here at 7, it's kind of an area, different shade of cloud cover. This could be some ground fog developing tonight. We've seen it the past several nights, just these little areas that form some patchy fog. Same deal tonight. Best bet for that just west of BG down toward Ottawa. That burns off tomorrow. Lovely, sunny, and dry, highs in the mid-70s. And we'll repeat that here for Friday morning. Patchy fog developing in many spots here. Nothing too thick. And then throughout the day, bright sunshine with highs in the upper 70s. There's your clock. So by 6, 7 o'clock, evening plans, high school football, doesn't get much better. Here's your forecast tonight now, the low 47 degrees. Mostly clear, cool, patchy fog possible with a calm breeze. Tomorrow, flip-flop those numbers. You get 74, mostly sunny, comfortable, and northeast winds like today, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Checking that 7-day forecast, Friday's high, 77 degrees. For the weekend, starts off really warm on Saturday. Let's zoom in there and you can see 80 for a high, the low 53. On Sunday, with a cold front passing through, a little cooler, rain is likely, and right now centered around midday. So have to watch for the race for the cure in the morning, I believe, is this Sunday. But that rain comes in, moves out quickly, and leaves us high and dry next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Lows near 50 and highs in the lower to mid-70s.
It's a real nice stretch, pretty much continuing.
Nice stretch and just that one chance of the next 7 days, with the chance, even the chance of rain.
All right, Jay, thanks. I'm Dave Holmes. Coming up next in sports, Cleveland Indians about to play their final home game of the season. So how do you follow up last night's thriller?
Hello, and coming up on World News, we're going frame by frame over the video of the Navy Yard shooter. We'll tell you what we've learned. And real money tonight on World News. We save a family $500,000 for their future, and you can do it too. Watch tonight.
Cleveland Indians still clinging to a playoff spot. Chris Perez still clinging to a closer's job. Jason Giambi still clinging to the glory days. What a night in Cleveland after Perez blew the save by giving up 2 home runs in the 9th inning. His buddy Giambi bailed him out in the bottom of the 9th. 2-run, 2-out walk-off to keep the Indians in control of the wild card race, which brings us to tonight. Final home game of the year for the Tribe. Here are the current wild card standings. Rays and Indians tied for the top spot. Both teams on 5-game winning streaks. Texas just a game back. Remember, 2 of those teams will make it. As for the Tigers, they can clinch the division with a win tonight or an Indians loss. Ohio State opens the Big Ten Saturday night against Wisconsin, a game you can see right here on 13 ABC. As for the quarterback situation, get this. Braxton Miller and Kenny Guyton listed as co-starters. Yeah, kind of like how we list Lee and Diane as co-anchors, although we know who carries the broadcast. Bowling Green is 1-0 in the MAC. Who does that look for? I'm not even sure. Although they haven't played a conference game in 3 weeks. This week, the BG gets the Akron Zips, a team that hasn't beaten a Division I team all year. Then again, the Zips almost beat the Michigan Wolverines at the Big House.
Definitely, they're a much more experienced group than they were a year ago. They have 3 returning starters on the O-line, a bunch of guys back on offense and defense. I mean, I think they're a much improved team, and they're headed in the right direction right now. Last year, it was definitely a battle against them. I mean, they had the ball on our 1 with an opportunity to make it 17-0. So, I mean, that game could have easily went the other way, and we had just fought back and ended up winning.
Tonight at 11, it's our Buffalo Wild Wings Blazing Challenge. This week we have Eastwood High School against Genoa, one of the best rivalries in Northwest Ohio on the field.
But which school can throw down 12 blazing wings the fastest? It was a sweaty, messy mess. We'll find out tonight at 11. It's easier to have co-anchors than co-quarterbacks. I think it's tough to have two guys take the snap at once. I don't know how that's going to work. They'll figure it out, though, by Saturday.
Thanks for starting something up again.
Just stir the pot.
That's all you do. All right, we're going to check what's out weather-wise in the next couple of hours.
Jay has your evening forecast next as we take a live look from our ProMedica Flower Hospital Action Cam.
And here's a look at live Doppler 13,000 HD. Dry tonight. You can probably see the sun shine out the window. Upper 60s and lower 70s. Forecast does call for a drop-off into the 50s by 11 o'clock with a really pretty sunset. Time on that just before 7:30. For tonight, the low 47. Some patchy fog as you wake up on your Thursday, the weekend eve. 74 the high. Beautiful this week on Friday. No chance of rain. 77. Warm and dry Saturday, up to 80. Chance of showers Sunday, focused around midday, 73. And right back into our dry, pleasant, nice weather for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Outstanding. All right, Jay, thank you. Thanks for watching 13 ABC Action News at 6.
Be sure to join us tonight at 11 for 13 minutes of nonstop news. For Lee Conklin, Jay Pershback, Dave Holmes, and all of us at 13 ABC, I'm Diane Larson.
World News with Diane Sawyer straight ahead. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
13 ABC Action News at 6 is Toledo's #1 newscast.